tell you guys about my makeup look for today. So I just got home from work. I'm tired, as you all know. I'm always tired, but what else is new? I've still been sleeping terribly. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I don't know. I had my coffee a bit earlier today. Like, I had it before 12 today, so hopefully that'll help, because damn, I've just been not really sleeping that much, or maybe I'll fall asleep for a couple of hours, but that's about it. Like, whatever. So I prime my eyes. Let me just dim this a little. It's like too bright. So I prime my eyes with the ColourPop Party Proof Primer, and then I use the Clarins Lip Oil, and then I set my eyes with the Urban Decay Pressed Powder. And then for my eyeshadow palette today, I decided to go into the Oden's Eye Red Dragon palette, because I just wanted to use Oden's Eye today. And I haven't used this palette in a hot second, and I need to realize, like, just because I'm not using a newer palette doesn't mean I don't want to rotate my older palettes. I still love this palette. It's such a solid one from Oden's Eye, so I love using it when I can. So I went into Serene in the crease, then I darkened up the crease more with Dragon, and then I used Aurora on the outer corners, and then for the lid, I went in with Amber. I always want to use Luna, like, every time I use this palette, but this color is so beautiful. Like, they're just such pigmented reds. Like, I just love them, like red oranges. So, and then for the inner corners, I used Overheat. So I just used those 5 shades, but I absolutely love this palette. So that's everything that I used. And then I just went in with Brighter Days from Blend Bunny on the brow bone for the Forget Me Not palette. And then I went into my Makeup by Mario liner in the shade Brown. And then for my mascara, I just used my Amico Lay mascara, the Essence Lash Primer, of course. And then I went into the Maybelline Lash Discovery on the bottom lashes. And then I primed my face with the Do It Spray and the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. And then for my foundation, I went into the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation in the shade 1C1 Cool Vanille. And then for my concealer, I went into the Coinciding Concealer. It still looks so good when I came home. So this is the shade 0N1. I just haven't used it in a little while, so I wanted to use those today. And then I set my face with the Urban Decay Pressed Powder. And then for my bronzer, I went into the House Labs bronzer. God, I almost dropped that, in the shade Light Level 1. And then for my blush, I wanted to go into the new Lawless blush that I got, one of the cream blushes. So this is the shade, this is the Pinch My Cheek Soft Blur Cream Blush in the shade Starburst. I think it's really pretty. I really like it. I feel like I'm going to wear this blush quite a lot this month because it's just such a good, like, everyday peachy shade. I might end up picking up another shade, but I need another shade of blush, like a hole in the head. So I'm really trying to be picky with my makeup purchases this year, and I'm really not trying to pick up too many. I probably have picked up maybe 10 blushes this year. Like, I picked up the 2 from the Beauty and the Beast collection from ColourPop, and also 2 from the Pokemon collection. And I think I picked up a couple during the Sephora sale, and then I just got this one from Lawless and the House Labs stick. And that's it. So, not going too crazy with blush this year, because I honestly really don't need to. I think I got the M Cosmetics blushes this year, too. I love those blushes. I want to wear those soon, because I haven't worn them in a hot second. So I'm trying to rotate as much makeup as I can right now, but sometimes I end up just going back to the same stuff. I need a haircut so badly, by the way. Sorry that my hair looks like kind of a mess right now. And then for my highlight, I went into the Oden's Eye highlighter in the shade Warm Sunshine, because I still love using Oden's Eye when I use one of their palettes, and their just highlighters are so beautiful. They last such a long time on the skin. And then I set my face with the Milk Makeup Setting Spray, and then I set my brows with the e.l.f. Wow Brow. And then for my lips, forgot it's still in my bag. I went into the Frosted Flakes Lippy from the Glam Light and Frosted Flakes collection, and this one is, it actually doesn't have a shade, but it's just a really beautiful peach shade. And that's everything as far as my makeup goes. And as far as a reading update goes, like I said, I did finish Reckless yesterday. I actually need to film my clip for yesterday. later tonight because I got home really late last night. But I did finish Reckless yesterday afternoon, but then I couldn't read anymore last night. Like, I wouldn't have been able to tell you this if I said it last night because it was just too late and I had such a headache when I came home. I was like, I literally can't film a clip at all. I was just too tired. But I started Annabelle Monaghan's Summer Romance today. I tried to read some of it last night, but I was literally exhausted. So I didn't really read my 100 pages like I usually like to every day, or like over 100 pages. I only got to read like the first like 7 pages and then I was already falling asleep. But I got up to page 64 today, so I read like another 50 something pages. And so far, I'm loving this. It's just so good. I absolutely love her writing, and I don't think I'm going to be disappointed. I also love this one because it's super floppy, so it's just, I just love her books so much, and all I want to do is read this, but my mom wants to do a puzzle right now, so. But I'll be able to read for the rest of the night after that, so I at least want to read like another 100 pages of this, so I just eat her books up. I love them so much. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hey there guys. I want to tell you guys about my makeup look for yesterday. So I did go out for July 4th. And we went to the Nautical Mile here. And what's really nice about it is that our 2 friends actually live there. My like older married friends live like 2 blocks away, so all we do is walk to the Nautical Mile. Like, we don't have to go and park over there because they actually charge for parking, and their parking is like $20. It's like, honestly, it's a ripoff. And also, like, some certain places have cover charges, so sometimes they can be really expensive. What is that? So we went to like get a drink first at one bar, and then we went to go eat tacos at this other place, and the tacos were so good. And then we went on the boat to watch the fireworks, and it was really, really nice. Like, I usually never have 4th of July plans, so it was just a really fun time, and I'm so glad that my friend invited us, because she told us about it like back in May, and she was like, do you guys want to do like a 4th of July cruise? And me and my friend were like, hell yeah. Because again, I just never have plans for it, and I just want to go see the fireworks somewhere, and it was just really, really nice being on the water. And I haven't been on a boat in like quite a long time. I don't remember the last time I was on a boat, but I think it was actually for when I had to go visit my best friend in the hospital back in like 2021. So it's been like a couple of years. And that was when I would take the Connecticut ferry from Port Jeff here. So, because I would drive out to Port Jeff, but also parking there is so much cheaper than parking in the Nautical Mile, because like leaving your car there all day, like when I used to visit my best friend when she was alive, it would be $20 for the whole day, and I would just leave my car there overnight for when I would visit her, and then I would leave like the next day. And it was just like so cheap. But I would try to catch like the like earlier afternoon ferry at like 1 o'clock, so I could be there at like 2, and then spend the whole day with her, and then like go home like mid-afternoon the next day, and it would just be like so much fun. So anyway, I primed my eyes with ColourPop Party Proof Primer, and then I used the Pokemon Pokeball, and then I set my eyes with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Powder. And then for my eyeshadow palette, I went into the Pokemon and ColourPop palette again, and I actually finally used all of the shimmers in here as of last night. So now I've finally used every single shade in this palette, and I can say that there are better shades than others. Like, I would say the blue shades and the green shades are the best in here. They are so pigmented and so impactful on the lids. And both of these greens have stayed on my lid so amazingly. And this dark green, I think Angie also talked about this shade. She was like, this is one of the best greens I've ever used from ColourPop, and I would have to agree. This shade is amazing. It's such an amazing deepening shade. I have to do like another look with this shade and like mix it like with the yellows or the purples. I think that would look so cool. But some of the purpley shades are a little bit powdery. And the same thing I would say about the yellows. The pinks are really good in here. So the pinks and the greens are great. So I went into Fossil in the crease. And then I just darkened up the crease with Trainer's Path. But then I also used just another, my Anastasia single shadow in the shade Hot Chocolate on the outer corners. Just so I could deepen it up a little bit more. Because again, this brown unfortunately isn't deep enough for me. But then I really wanted to use the red finally, so I finally was able to use this shade. So this is the shade I Choose You, because obviously it was 4th of July, so I wanted to use, I usually always use a red lid shade on 4th of July, that's just my thing. And I really liked this shade. This shade was really nice and pigmented. And then for the inner corners, I just went into the gold, which is Elite 4. I keep on getting it in my hair. And it was really nice. I actually really, it actually stayed on pretty well on the boat. I was pretty surprised. It just creased a little bit on one of the outer corners. But after I've been using the ColourPop primer, it's actually been a little bit better than the Anastasia one. So I don't know what's going on with that. And then I just went into the Makeup by Mario liner in the shade Black. And then I just used my Essence Lash Primer and then the Tarte Lid Tubing Mascara on the top lashes. And then my Maybelline Lash Discovery on the bottom lashes. And then I primed my face with the Do It Spray and the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. God, jeez. I don't know why this keeps on falling off, this stupid top. I really don't know why it keeps on coming off. Maybe because I need to stop grabbing it from the top. So for my foundation, I went in with my Tried and True, which is the Lancome Teint Idol Ultra Wear Foundation in the shade 120N. And then for my concealer, I went into the Tarte C Concealer in the shade Porcelain 8S. 8S Porcelain Sand. And then I set my under eyes with the Pat McGrath Labs powder. And then I set my face with the Urban Decay Pressed Powder. And then for my bronzer, I went into the Haus Labs bronzer in the shade Light Level 1. And then for my blush, I went into the red shade from the Bare Cheeks palette. I actually never get to use this shade enough, so this is the Blend Bunny palette. And I went into the red here, which is the shade Power Play. Oh my god, this shade is so insanely pigmented, and I just adore this palette to pieces. So I kind of want to use like the 2 orange shades like later this week, but I try to not use this palette, and then when I use it again, like I can never get enough of it. It's such a fantastic palette. And I also used my Blend Bunny highlighter too, because again, like if I need something to last, these 2 palettes are just phenomenal cheek palettes. So I just went into the Dreamlike shade, and then I topped it off with a little bit of Enlighten, and it looked so pretty. And then I set my face with the Milk Makeup Setting Spray, and then I set my brows with the e.l.f. Wow Brow. But Blend Bunny hasn't really come out with anything that I've been like really interested in this year. Honestly, if they come out with a better neutral palette, I might pick that up. But I actually even determined that I didn't want to get the Clionadh palette because honestly, I don't think I'm going to use them enough. Like I was just going to get one, but one is $82. Like, yes, it's cheaper than getting, like, their single shadows, but it's still $82, and I was gonna do it on Sizzle, and then I was like, you know what, I don't need to pay this much for an eyeshadow palette. I mean, if it was, if they had more mattes in it, then maybe, but I just, like, I couldn't really justify the price. I don't know, it's just, like, I have a limit on how much I want to spend on eyeshadows, and that's pretty much my limit. Well, actually, my limit is like $70, and that's usually just for a Natasha Denona palette. And then for my lips, I just went into my ColourPop BFF liner, and then I went into the Patrick Ta Monochrome Moment Silky Lip Cream in the shade She's Sincere. I really do love these. I wish I got another shade of these at some point, or when I was at Sephora a couple days ago, but it's okay. I need another lippy like a hole in the head, and that's everything as far as my makeup goes. And then as far as a reading update goes, I did finish Reckless yesterday afternoon. And that was the only reading that I did yesterday, but I had like 50 something pages left, but I wasn't able to read anything after that. But I kind of knew that I wasn't going to have time after I left to go out for July 4th because I knew I was going to be with my friends. So like it wasn't really that big of a deal. I felt like I was going to be way too tired to read anything. I didn't even watch anything last night. I just wanted to go to sleep, but I didn't really sleep that well. So yeah, so anyway, I didn't really love it. I gave it a 3.75, which is honestly pretty underwhelming. Like, I was getting 4-star feelings, but honestly, I just felt like it was way too much of Kai and Peyton, like, which I love them as characters. I really do. But, like, I think, like, some people's reviews of saying, like, they basically said the same thing that I did, is that they love Kai and Peyton, but she kind of forgot to progress the plot in this book. And I kind of felt the same way. I'm like, I don't know if I said this before, but I feel like this could have been a novella. I feel like this did not need to be 375 pages. Like, at least it wasn't too long. So I felt like it was still a good length. But also, like, once I saw that it was, almost 100 pages, or I think it was 100 pages more over 100 pages more than Powerless, I was like, why is it so much shorter? And then I was like, oh, it didn't really need to be any longer. But also, like, I already knew what it was building up to. But honestly, I felt like the most interesting plot that we got, besides the letters from Peyton's father, the only other plot that we got was, Kit, kind of going into madness after he has to become king. But, like, they weren't really, like, dealing with any of the politics. Like, she could have, like, talked a little bit more about Kit's council. Like, what are you doing? Like, you gotta, lead your people in some way. Like, what are you gonna do about ruling the kingdom? Like, I thought that would be more interesting. But there was, like, none of that. And also, like, with Kai and Peyton, like, obviously, we knew that they were gonna become lovers again. But, like, I did really like the last couple of chapters, but, like, I also feel like there could have been the chapter that was the epilogue, I feel like that should have been the last chapter, and then I feel like there should have been an epilogue just on Kit's perspective, reading his letters from the king. Like, 3 pages of, like, one letter he was reading on, like, what Kit should be doing. And I feel like that would have been more interesting. And also, like, we never got the letters from Kit's father in this book. But we got, Peyton's letters. But also, like, one of I think, like, one of his servants, or if she's, like, one of the cooks or something. She says, like, oh, yeah, your father, like, left you all these, like, I think it was her. Maybe it was somebody else. But they were like, oh, wait, no, the mother. The mother was, like, Kit's mother left you all these letters. Your father left you all these letters for you to read to help you lead your kingdom and blah, blah, blah. But then we never got any of those letters. So I just found it kind of boring. I still was excited to read it, and it still was a good book, but it was underwhelming. The first book was just so good, but honestly, I don't know if I said this before, but it is not a fantasy book. This is not a fantasy book. It barely has any magic in it. There's, like, mention of magic maybe twice. And it's only, like, the mundane's powers. And it's literally just, like, the most obscure, kind of useless powers. And that's about it. And also, Kai said he started to get stronger. And he's starting to experience, like, new powers. I'm like, okay, maybe we could have heard about that too. But we didn't get any of that. So I know that Lauren said that it was going to be a slower paced book, and I'm still happy about the series, but, like, again, I felt like this could have been, like, a less than 200 page novella like Powerless. And we could have just gotten, you know, what happened to Peyton after Powerless. And then we could have gotten like a whole nother book, like picking up like the high stakes pace of Powerless. So I don't know. Then that could have been Reckless. Like, this could have been called something else. Like, I don't know why this book was called Reckless, to be honest, because she says powerless again in this book, and I like the way that she used it on a different character. But she didn't say reckless once, but it's fine. It was okay. It was kind of mid, though, but I kind of felt like that about a lot of the new releases this year. My favorite new releases this year so far have been Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, because everything she writes I love, and the reappearance of Rebel Price. I think those have been the only 2 5-stars that I've read that were new releases this year. I feel like every other new release has been kind of underwhelming, except for A Novel Love Story, because I actually thought that book was adorable. And I think Summer Romance is going to be my favorite new release, besides Just for the Summer and Rebel Price. So, because I am absolutely loving it so far. But I talk about that literally in the next clip. So that's it. Bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. Just want to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. I'm about to go to my boyfriend's house. So I primed my eyes with the ColourPop Party Proof Primer. And then I used the Clarins Lip Oil. And then I set my eyes with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh powder. And then for my eyeshadow palette today, I just went into the Beauty and the Beast palette, and I just used like 3 shades. I just wanted to do a really simple look. So I just went into Belle in the crease, and then I just used, Beast in the crease, and then I used Belle on the lid. And then for the inner corners, I just used Inner Beauty, and that's it. That's all I wanted to do. And then I just used Brighter Days from Blend Bunny on the brow bone. And then I just used the Makeup Forever liner in brown on my waterline. And then just the ColourPop lengthening mascara on the top and bottom lashes. And then I primed my face with the Do It spray and the Rare Beauty illuminating primer. And then for my foundation, I decided to go back into this one because I haven't used this in a hot second. So this is the NYX Bear With Me Tinted Skin Veil in the shade Pale Light. I'm going to try and use this up at some point, so I need to use it more often. I think my Urban Decay one is kind of old at this point, so I think I'm going to use that one a little bit more often, like when I go to my friend's house for her barbecues. And then for my concealer, I just went into the Maybelline Dark Circle Eraser in the shade 95 Cool Ivory. I'm pretty hungry, so I want to leave. And then I set my under eyes with the House Labs powder, and I set my face with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh powder. And then for my bronzer, I just went into my Milani Dolce bronzer. And then for my blush, I just went into one of my single ones from MAC, and I just used the shade Spring Sheen, which is this one right here. It's just a really pretty everyday one. And then for my highlight, I did go into my Pixie highlighting duo, but then I thought it was a little bit too white base, but I did use the Glowy Gossamer duo in the shade Delicate Dew, but then I also topped it off with the Rare Beauty's Exhilarate Baked Highlighter, just because I love this highlight formula, and I think it turned it a little bit more gold, so that was more so what I was going for. And then I set my face with the Rare Beauty setting spray, and then I set my brows with the ColourPop Brow Blush Gel. And then for my lips, I just went into the House Labs lip crayon in the shade Honey Matte. I actually kind of forgot that I had this. I don't know why, for some reason, I thought I only had one of these, but I actually own 2 of them. So I was like, let me use this one because I haven't used it in a little while, and it's one of my favorite everyday lippies. And that's everything as far as my makeup goes. And as far as a reading update goes, I did get quite a bit through Summer Romance last night. Now I'm on page 205. I know when I updated you guys last night, I was only on page 64. So I read like 140 pages already, which is a lot, and I'm loving it. It's so good. So I only have like 100 or so pages left tonight, so I'm just gonna finish it tonight. I actually already finished another episode of Desperate Housewives, so I'm just gonna finish this tonight. I'm super excited. It's just so good. I love her writing so much. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. I want to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. So I just got home from work. Pretty tired as usual. So I primed my eyes with the ColourPop Party Proof Primer, and then I used the Clarins Lip Oil, and then I set my eyes with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh powder. I'm not sure what I'm doing for most of this week. I mean, I'm sure I'll see my boyfriend probably tomorrow and Wednesday. I mean, I don't really have much plans Monday through Thursday, but I usually see him during the week, so that's probably what's going to happen. And then I just have a barbecue on Saturday, and then I'm working Friday and Sunday, but I'm usually off Monday through Thursdays, and I usually work on the weekends. So besides Tuesday, I'll probably end up seeing him Monday and Wednesday. Maybe I'll stay home Thursday. I'm not sure yet. So, and then I went in with the Natasha Denona My Dream palette today because I just felt like using it. I actually ran out of my glitter primer, so I'm kind of glad that I used this. And I used the ColourPop Party Proof Primer again. And I noticed that this didn't really crease at all. So I think it's just the primer. So I've been having really good luck using that primer. So I went into Unity in the crease. Then I darkened up the crease more with Carpe Diem. And then I used Familia on the outer corners. And then I went into Invention all over the lid. And then for the inner corners, I went into Spontaneous. I just felt like using this today. I love this palette so much. This is still my #1 favorite. I love the Yucca palette, but I think this one's still my all-time favorite one because I love the amount of depth that you get from this one. And then for my waterline, I just went into the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Brown. And then I just went into the Essence Lash Primer. And then for my mascara, I went into the Lancome Hypnose Mascara. And then I went into the Maybelline Lash Discovery on the bottom lashes. And then I primed my face with the Do It Spray and the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. I'm so beyond tired tonight, though. Like, around 5 o'clock, it really hit me on how tired I am. So I'm actually really excited to be home tonight. And then for my foundation, I went into the Tom Ford Traceless Foundation Stick in the shade 0.0 Pearl. I just felt like using it today. And also, it's like really ridiculously hot out. Ridiculous, like I said it like Harry Potter. But it's been really ridiculously hot out and like really humid the past couple of days. So I think that's like a big reason as to why I'm like super tired right now, like literally exhaustion and like lightheadedness. So I was like, I need to go home and relax. And then for my concealer, I went into the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer in the shade LG3. And then I set my under eyes with the Pat McGrath Labs powder, and then I set my face with the Urban Decay Pressed Powder. I actually set my eyes with the Urban Decay one too. I forgot about that. And then for my bronzer, I went into the Marc Jacobs bronzer in the shade Tantric. And then for my blush, I went into an older duo. This was actually buried at the bottom of my drawer, and I was like, oh my god, I haven't used this in so long, so I decided to use it today finally. So I went into my older Cover FX duo. I used to use this so much. So this is the Soft Peach Monochromatic Blush Duo. This is so good. So I just mixed the two shades together, and it's just so pretty. And then for my highlight, I don't know if this highlight was really that good, but I went into the Jaclyn Hill highlighter in the shade Go for Gold. I don't know. I feel like I need to declutter a bunch of highlighters at this point because I feel like half of them just don't work for my fair-ass skin anymore. So I gotta figure it out. I gotta like clean out so much stuff still from my room. And then I set my face with the Milk Makeup Setting Spray, and then I set my brows with the e.l.f. Wow Brow. And then for my lips, I went into the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Anywhere Caffeine. And then for my lippy, I went into the Haus Labs lipstick in the shade Sepia. This is one of those lip vinyls, and I absolutely love these. They just look so good on the lips. So that's everything as far as my makeup goes. And as far as a reading update goes, I did finish Summer Romance last night. I just binged it last night. I think I had like 100 pages left. And I finished it so fast because like her books are just so easy to read. And it was so good. This was definitely a 5-star for me. I think I still love Nora Goes Off Script the most, but I definitely liked this one more than Same Time Next Summer. And a lot of people say the same thing, that they prefer Nora Goes Off Script and this book rather than Same Time Next Summer. But Summer Romance, I feel like, is Nora Goes Off Scripts and Same Time Next Summer's plots mixed together, and they just worked so well, and I loved it. I gave it a 5 stars because I was crying my eyes out the last like 30 pages. I'm like, when am I gonna cry? And it just really hit me hard, and it was just so wonderfully written. She's like my favorite author right now, like my favorite romance author. Oh my God, she's just so good. So I absolutely loved it. If you're looking for the ultimate summer romance book, it's literally called Summer Romance, but it's a great, great story. So I really loved it. So then I started Happily Never After by Lynn Painter today. I only got 20 pages in because when I work on Sundays, I don't really get much reading time. So I literally read like 10 pages this morning and then 10 pages on my break. So I really didn't have that much time. Because usually for 20 minutes of my break, I'm eating. So then I only get like 10 minutes to read. So I'm going to binge this tonight and hopefully read as much as I can. I want to read at least another 100-something pages. So hopefully we'll be on page like 150, 200 by tomorrow afternoon. So far this is super cute. I'm already loving it. It's so funny. She's getting married and he's a wedding objector. Like, brides will hire him, or like anyone that thinks that, like, you know, there's like a cheating groomsman or like a cheating spouse in general, and this guy will be hired to sit in the congregation when the couple is getting married, and, you know, whenever, you know, the priest says, speak now or forever hold your peace, if these two should not be wed in holy matrimony, and he will stand up and say, I object, and then he will expose the person that is the cheater. And I just think it's so funny. What a great concept for a romance. So I think I'm gonna really like this a lot. I mean, I enjoy Lynn Painter's writing so much, so I think this might be the last Lynn Painter book that I'm gonna be reading until it just fell on the floor, it's fine. Until Nothing Like the Movies comes out later this year, because I'm actually making a decent dent in the romances that I have. I think I only have like 10 more physical romance books to read. I have like another 5 on my list this month, including Spanish Love Deception. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 6. Magnolia Parks I wouldn't really count as romances. I would count as them as like being like mafia crime romance. So like not typical la-di-da romance books like Spanish Love Deception and Happily Never After. So yeah, I'm excited. And I only have like a few more up on my shelf because I've been so into romance the past like couple of months. Like, that's all I've been wanting to read. So I'm just going to stick with what I'm in the mood for. So, and I've been sticking to my TBR. This is now the 4th book on my TBR that I wanted to read. So we're doing good. So yeah, bye. So hey there, guys. I want to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. I don't know if I said yesterday, I wasn't sure what my plans were going to be today because I hadn't told my boyfriend when I can see him, but I am going to his house today. So I primed my eyes with the ColourPop Party Proof Primer, and then I just used the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Powder. And then for my eyeshadow palette, I just did a really simple look again. I'm honestly been really liking these super simple eyeshadow looks. I'm still using the palettes. I'm just doing like 2 shades, and then I'm just doing an inner corner highlight. And I've been just really liking this kind of look for the summertime. It's just easy. It's just too hot to spend more time on your makeup the past couple of months. So I just have been really enjoying these super simple looks. So I just went into Juju in the crease, and then I just went into Fairy Godmother on the lid. I used the ColourPop It's a Princess Thing palette. I don't know if I said that. And then I just went into Prince Charming on the inner corners, and that's it. And I really like how it looks. It's super pretty, super effective. Again, I'm still using eyeshadow palettes. I'm just not using that many shades. So, and I don't know why I defend myself when, if this is what I feel like wearing, then that's what I'm going to wear. And then I just went into Brighter Days from Blend Bunny on the brow bone. And then for my waterline, I just went into the LA Girl liner in the shade White. And then I just went into the ColourPop Lengthening Mascara on the top and bottom lashes. And then for my face, I still put on a tinted moisturizer today. It depends on whether or not I want to wear more face makeup or not. But sometimes if I wear less eyeshadow, sometimes I do like going in with the tinted moisturizer. So I went into the Do It Spray and then the Rare Beauty Illuminating Primer as usual. And then I went into the NYX Bear With Me Tinted Skin Veil again because I wanted to use this again because it looked so good the other day. So I just wanted to use it again. And then I went into the NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer. I haven't used this one in a hot second, so I wanted to use it today in the shade, what shade is this? I think it's the lightest shade. I don't know where it says it. I always forget. Oh well, doesn't really matter. And then I set my under eyes with the House Labs powder, and then I set my face with the Pretty Fresh powder again. And then for my bronzer, I just went into the ColourPop Aviva Beach bronzer. And then for my blush, I just went into the House Labs stick again. This is the Color Fuse Glassy Blush Balm in the shade Glassy Hibiscus. And it does look pretty, but I feel like when I'm blending this out, it kind of just blends away. It is nice for a super subtle blush, but I think it's a little bit too subtle because even with my more subtly pigmented blushes, they don't like do that. Like even like my lighter cream, some of my lighter cream blushes that I have, that doesn't happen. So I don't know. And then for my highlight, I went into the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder in the shade Bloom Time. And then I just set my face with the Rare Beauty spray. And then I set my brows with the ColourPop Brow Boss Gel. And then for my lips, I just went into the Tower 28 Lip Softy Tinted Lip Treatment again in the shade Watermelon Kiwi. So I've just been really liking like super simple looks lately because again, I don't need to get all glammed up to go to his house. I just wear really simple eye looks now. And I just really wanted to wear my California shirt that I got last year in Santa Monica today. So that's everything as far as my makeup goes. And then as far as a reading update goes, I did finish Lynn Painter's Happily Never After literally this afternoon. I finished it like, I think around 2, so like an hour and a half ago, and I thought it was cute. I actually got through quite a bit of it yesterday. I got up to page like 170, so I got like more than halfway through. I think that was like 60% of it, and then I just finished the rest of it today. That was like another 100 pages, and I liked it. I thought it was cute. I gave it a 3.75 out of 5. Sometimes when you go into books, you kind of already know that they're not going to be a 5-star read, but sometimes you just want to go into a book wanting to have a good time. Not everything has to be a 5-star. So I know Lynn Painter is a reliable author for me. I know I'm always going to have a good time reading her books. And also I kind of just needed something a bit lighter after reading summer romance just to offset, you know, more like emotionally attached stories that I read that I get like really emotionally attached to. I mean romances that I get more emotionally attached to. I need a palate cleanser sometimes that's like a little bit lighter and just funny and a good time and kind of mindless. Because not every single book needs to change my life. So I liked it. Like I said, I gave it a 3.75 out of 5 stars. I originally was going to give it a 4 because I was really enjoying it. But some of the smut dialogue was a little bit cringy for me. I think that's why people like her YA novels more, because I think that she just has it down when it comes to YA romances. They're some of my favorites. So yeah, it wasn't quite hitting like Betting on You, but this was also my first adult romance book by Lynn Painter, and I just really wanted to read it. So it took like no time. It took me a day and a half. So that's so now I'm up to 4 books now this month. And then tonight I am just going to try and get as far as I can into the Spanish Love Deception. I literally have read like 6 books since I've picked up this book again. But I've actually been waiting for this to be available on Spotify Premium again so I can just listen to it and also read it at the same time. But I just feel like this book is so long. I really feel like any romance book over 350 pages is just too long, or like 385. Most like longer romance books are like 385. This is 433 pages, but I still am enjoying it. I am like basically halfway through it, but like I've just been wanting the audiobook to come out again so I can, wanting more hours to listen to on Spotify Premium because it expires in a day, or I'm able to listen to it tomorrow because Spotify only gives you a certain amount of listening hours every month, which I think is so stupid, but I finally get more listening hours tomorrow. Maybe it's like 30 hours. I'm not really sure. But I do want to listen to this while I'm reading it, so I think that'll get me through this faster. It's not like I'm not having a good time with this, but we're over 200 pages in and the characters haven't even kissed yet. So for me, kind of like the tolerance mark for me with romances, unless they have a legitimate reason on why they haven't kissed yet. I really feel like after the first 100 pages, if they haven't kissed yet, it's kind of like, where is the story going? Like I said, I feel like after the 100-page mark, it's like we need to start with the romance because that's what the book is. So it's like, since most romance books are only 350 or even less, I'm glad that in this book, in Lynn Painter's book, Happily Never After, they kissed like 85 pages in. So it's like, since it's only a 275-page book, obviously she needs the characters to kiss earlier than 100 pages because it's a much shorter book. But hopefully we'll get some romance by some point in this book. Like with Yours Truly, there was a lot of buildup in that book that they hadn't kissed, but it was so beautifully written that I just love all of Abby Jimenez's books. But I'm going to go because I'm hungry. So yeah, bye. Okay, so hey there guys. I want to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. I did work today. I actually was not scheduled to work today, but one of my managers asked me to cover them. So I was like, okay. I was like, I really wasn't doing much today. I actually did not even wear makeup yesterday. I had another makeup free day yesterday. I have a lot of free time on my hands recently, or the next like week or two is kind of like boring. So July is kind of like a dead time for me after 4th of July. Like after that whole thing last week, I just haven't had too many plans. I just have that barbecue on Saturday that I was telling you about. But it might rain, so we're hoping that it doesn't. But of course it's not going to rain it's not raining today. And it's not going to rain tomorrow, but it's going to rain Friday and Saturday. But at least I'm working Friday, but Saturday, it's like, it might rain, and obviously we're going to be outside in the pool on Saturday, but of course there's no rain on Sunday. And I'm not even working on Sunday, so I might just get like all this other stuff done on Sunday, or I might just hang out with one of my friends. I'm not really sure yet. So anyway, so I'm glad I worked today because I literally wasn't doing anything yesterday. All I did was go to my dentist appointment last night, yesterday evening, because my appointment wasn't until 5 p.m. and I got home at like 6. So like that's the only time I left the house yesterday. But if I didn't work today, I was going to like run a bunch of errands. Like I wasn't going to stay home all day like I did yesterday until I had to go to the dentist appointment, but that's neither here nor there. So I've been using the ColourPop Party Proof Primer, by the way, and my eyeshadow has not creased once since I've been using it. So I think I'm just going to use this one from now on. I think I like the silicone base primers more so than the Anastasia one. I also ran out of glitter glue like last week, so I've literally just been spraying my brushes for my shimmers now. So anyway, and then I used the Clarins lip oil, and then I set my eyes with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh powder. And then for my eyeshadow palette today, I don't even remember the last time I actually used this palette, but I went into my Game Beauty Victory palette because I really wanted to use this today. So I just took like 4 shades. I literally just took like these 4 shades. So I went into Kiting in the crease. Then I darkened with the crease more with actually Gigi right here. And then for the outer corners, I tried to go into OP, but it wasn't quite dark enough. So I darkened it up more with Tank, which is the darkest brown in the palette. And then for the lid, I used Gold. I still love the quality of this palette. The mattes are just so soft and beautiful. And I was like, let me whip it out and use it today. So I'm glad I finally did. But that's everything that I used from the palette. And then I just went in with Brighter Days from Blend Bunny on the brow bone. And then for my highlight on my inner corners, I just went into one of my single shadows from ColourPop. I don't remember what this shade is called. It's called Just in Time. It's kind of like a yellowish gold. It's a really pretty color. I originally was trying to go into Max Nylon, but it was like a little bit too white based for me today. I wanted something a bit like more light gold. So I went into that shade instead. And then for my waterline, I just went into Makeup by Mario liner in the shade Brown. And then I went into the Essence Lash Primer. And then for my mascara, I went into the Tarte Tartelette Tubing Mascara as per usual. Also, I feel like my lippy's way too pink for the look that I did today, but whatever. I wasn't going to redo it again once I did it, but I feel like the lippy that I went into originally earlier was too pink based. So that's everything. And then the Maybelline Lash Mascara on the bottom lashes. I don't know if I said that already. And then for my face, I went into the my Do It Spray and the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. And then for my foundation, I love this foundation so much, and I just wanted to use my Haus Labs one again. So this is the Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation in the shade 050 Fair Cool. And then for my concealer, I went into the Coinciding Concealer in the shade 01 Fair Neutral. And then I set my under eyes with the Pat McGrath Labs powder, and then I set my face with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh powder. And then for my bronzer, I just went into my Haus Labs bronzer in the shade Light Level 1 as per usual. And then for my blush, I went into the Lawless blush in the shade the Pinch My Cheeks Soft Blur Cream Blush in the shade Starburst, because I wanted to use this cream blush again, and it's really pretty. I still really like it. And then for my highlight, I went into the Melt Blush Light highlighter in the shade Ghost Light. It's just a really, really pretty, like, lighter gold. And then I set my face with the Milk Makeup Setting Spray, and then I set my brows with the ColourPop with the e.l.f. Wow Brow. And then for my lips, I went into the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Anywhere Caffeine. It might have been the lip liner that made it a little bit more pink base, but it's fine. And then for my lips, I went into the Oogie Boogie lipstick from the Nightmare Before Christmas collection by ColourPop, and I really love this lipstick. So yeah, that's it as far as my makeup goes. And as far as a reading update goes, what did I finish the day before yesterday? I think I already told you guys. So yesterday I actually finished a whole ass another book before I went back into the Spanish Love Deception today, because I just wanted to finish a whole book yesterday, and I did. I started this yesterday, the night before, on like Monday night, and I got like 77 pages into it after already finishing I think I said I finished Happily Never After that afternoon before I saw my boyfriend. Yeah, that's what I did. And I really I thought that book was cute. But I decided to finally read one of my books of the month, because I literally have not read any of them. And I wanted to read this one specifically first before I read the rest of my books of the month, because this one is coming out in a few days. It's not even released yet. So that's why I wanted to read this one first. Even though this was probably the one I was the least excited for to read out of the books of the month that I have. Because I still have 5 Broken Blades, A Fate Inked in Blood, A Talent for Murder, and Ministry of Time, and I haven't read any of them yet. But I finally read one of them. So the one that I read was The Lost Story by Meg Schaffer, and she is actually the author of The Wishing Game, and I finished this whole book yesterday. I read like over 200 pages yesterday. It was okay. I didn't love this. I was really looking for something that was like a cute little fairy tale standalone fantasy. Like, I wanted that fairy tale vibes right now. That was just what I was craving. And also, like, I just wanted to, I actually filmed a video of reading a book before it comes out. So I'll give you my review and everything in that video. I'll probably post it soon because I haven't seen anybody actually post about this book yet. So like, I don't want to be that person. I might wait until like a few days from now because it's still another 6 days before this officially comes out. But anyway, I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. I didn't even give it more than that because I really wasn't that interested in it. Like, I don't think that a 3.75 would actually be an accurate rating. So I gave it a 3.5. But honestly, like, I'm thinking about just downgrading it to just a 3-star because just some of the beginning dialogue was very out of place in this story because I thought it would just be like kind of like a YA fantasy book or like young adult fantasy / romance a little bit, but there were some jokes in here that just like kind of turned me off a little bit in the first like 100 pages of the book, and I also thought like the first 100 pages were pretty slow. I was like, can we get to the magic already? This kind of felt like, because it kept on being compared to Chronicles of Narnia, and she kept on referring to it in this, and also like there was a line referring to Katniss Everdeen in the Hunger Games, and like all of those like classic stories, and it's like, but I don't think of this one as being like a classic standing the test of time kind of book, you know, like Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia, Harry Potter, like all of those kind of books. She even makes a reference to Harry Potter in this, and I feel like it was just kind of like a cheap knockoff of trying to be those books, you know, but it didn't really have that going for it. So I liked it. I would still recommend it if you were interested. I think it's a fast read, so I don't feel like you're gonna be like reading this for forever or gonna feel like you're reading it forever, but it was just okay. It wasn't really that great. But I finished it, so I'm glad that I got one more book off my list. Remember how I said I was gonna go into the Spanish Love Deception? Well, I decided to go back into it today, and I'm now on page 357 because I actually read like 80 pages at work today, and I listened to like 2 or 3 chapters before I went to work because I didn't want to start reading this again until I was able to listen to it more on Spotify Premium, because I finally got my listening hours back today on Spotify Premium, so then I was able to listen to this book again, because I think I've said this like 3 times already, but Spotify only has like a limited amount of hours that you can listen to audiobooks every month. So my listening hours finally kicked back in. Actually, I think midnight today, like this morning. So I listened to a few chapters getting ready for work, and then I read like 80 pages at work. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And this book is so long for what it is. Like, to get to the romance it just took way too long. Like, even 300 pages in, they still had not kissed yet. And I was like, oh, is the kiss gonna happen? And it didn't. And now it finally did, like 340 something pages in. Like, literally just within like the last chapter that I was reading. Yeah, like 345 pages in. I'm like, that is way too long for this to be a romance. Like, that's why I hadn't wanted to pick this back up again, because I was just getting frustrated, and also like it kind of intimidated me for being like, I think the longest romance book that I actually own is this one. Maybe, I don't know if Love theoretically is longer. I feel like I might not feel as frustrated with that book, to be honest, but like, I don't know. Like, I was actually really enjoying the first half of this book. I thought it was funny, but like the middle of the book has just been really boring. And even though I read from like 213 to 357, so I got like another almost 150 pages in today. So I already read 150 pages. And like, literally didn't get to the kiss until the last, like, 10 pages that I just actually listened to in the car. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it just, there's so much, like, unnecessary fleshed out internal dialogue from the main character. And I'm not saying that she's a bad writer, because I actually am enjoying her writing. But there are some things that are just a little bit sexist, just a little bit now. Like the workplace sexism, I can kind of understand, because that happens all the freaking time. It sucks, I know, but it's bound to happen. But like, it's like some things with like her family that are kind of turning me off. Or some things that like other characters that are saying like, oh, we thought you were going to be alone for forever, and we're so happy that you're with Aaron, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I mean, like, you could have just said, we're so happy that you're happy, rather than saying, oh, we thought you were going to be alone forever. Like, that's kind of just, like, fucked up. And, like, really turned me off from her family. I'm like, I don't really like her family that much. So, I like both of the main characters, actually, quite a lot. But all the other characters in the book are just pissing me off. So, I'm teetering on just a 3-star. I don't think I'm going to rate this book any higher than that. I already feel like it's just going to be a 3-star. So, we've kind of read some mid books the past couple of days. You know, nothing's been really like giving me that 5-star feeling, which is fine. Like, I really felt like these past 3 books that I read weren't going to be 5 stars, so it's not a big deal. But then tomorrow, I'm going to go into the Ministry of Time. I actually started this today, but then I was like, I don't want to bring a hardcover to work with me, so I was like, I might as well just try and finish Spanish Love Deception, because I've been reading it for like 2 weeks at this point. I was like, I just need to finish it. So that's why I just brought that with me. But I only got up to page 16, but I'm already loving this. I have a feeling that this is probably going to be a 5-star for me, or at least a 4-star or more. But this is my first sci-fi, and it's another book of the month. So, goals. Reading goals achieved, or some. So yeah, that's it. Bye. I'm rambling way too much, so bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. I want to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. So I'm just going to my boyfriend's house today. So I primed my eyes with the ColourPop Party Proof Primer, and then I used the Clarins lip oil, even though I ended up using another lip oil anyway to coat my lips with when I'm wearing out, because I like just living in lip glosses and lip oils now for the summertime. And then I set my face with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh powder. And then for my eyeshadow palette today, I decided to go back into the Sigma Ambiance palette today. I just really love this palette, and I'm just going to hold it up like this so then the brush doesn't fall out. So I just went in with Bask in the crease, and then I just darkened up the crease more with Oasis, but it was kind of like a little too dark, so I just took Sunspot and just deepened up the outer corners and kind of went over that with the Bask shade again, so then it wasn't like as dark, because sometimes some of these Sigma shades can be a little bit too dark because they're very pigmented. And then for my lid, I went into Midas, and then I just went into Sunflower on the inner corners, and that's everything I used, because I didn't want to use too many shades to like over blend. So that's what I used from this palette, and then I just used Brighter Days from Blend Bunny on the brow bone, of course. Let me just grab the box for it. I know I'm making a mess. And I just went into the Makeup Forever brown liner on my waterline in the shade Limitless Brown. And then for my mascara, I just went into the Tower 28 mascara on the top lashes, because I hadn't used it in a little while, and just the Maybelline Lash Discovery on the bottom lashes. And then for my face, I just went into my Kulfi concealer again, because I didn't want to spend too long on my face makeup, because I'm actually going to pick up food a little bit further away from his house, so it's going to take me like 20 minutes to get there, so I didn't want to spend too much time on my face makeup. And then for my blush, I went into the Cinderella blush and highlight duo in Ever After and Aglow. I just used both of them. And I just went into the Milani Baked Bronzer in the shade Dolce. I forgot to say that. And then I just set my face with the Rare Beauty setting spray, and then I set my brows with the ColourPop Brow Blush Gel, and then for my lips, I just went into the Say Glossy Bounce Lip Oil in the shade Push. I think my mom just got home too. So my brother just got home and then my mom just got home. So that's everything as far as my makeup goes, because like I said, I didn't want to spend too much time on it. And then as far as a reading update goes, I did actually finish The Spanish Love Deception last night. I had gotten pretty far into it by the time I got home from work. I was on page like 350 something. That I only had like 80 pages left to finish at home. So I listened to like 2 more chapters, and then I just had I read another chapter or 2, and then I listened to another chapter, and then I just finished it, because then I had like 27 pages left. So I just read the last 2 chapters. I just thought it was so long, but also like I just did not want to devote another day to finishing that book. I just wanted it to be over. Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. So I just thought it was okay. So I just gave it a 3 stars. I don't feel inclined to rate it any higher than 3 stars. Some parts annoyed me. Some parts were boring. Even when it ended up finally getting to the point where they kissed, I just found myself not really caring that much anymore, because I thought like some of the smut talk was a little cringe. So I don't know. It was just okay. So like I haven't read like the best books this week, even though I've already finished 3. I'm not like in love with any of the books that I read this week. I liked Happily Never After the most out of the 3 of these books that I read, because at least it was the shortest. It was very fast paced. It was funny. And the Lost Story was pretty underwhelming. Like, it was just okay. And then same thing about Spanish Love Deception. But at least Lost Story was like 100 pages shorter than Spanish Love Deception. Like, I just thought it was way too long for what it was. I'm like, a romance book should not be 437 pages. Because the chapters were so long. The chapters were like 30 pages. I'm like, what? And it's like kind of stuff that could have been, you know, edited down severely. So it was just okay. So like I said, I was just going to read Ministry of Time now. I'm on page 54. I didn't get that far today. I only read like 30-ish pages today. But I am going to read quite a bit tonight. Hopefully I'll get another 100 pages in. So far I'm really enjoying this. I think it's really funny. I mean, it's still like quite a lot of setup, but I'm enjoying it because I really love the concept of this. So like I said, this is my first sci-fi book and I'm really liking it so far. It's actually making me laugh quite a lot. I think like the humor in this is very funny. So yeah, I think so far I'm really liking it. So I'm excited to see where that goes. I should finish that by hopefully Saturday afternoon. So I'm going to read a lot tonight and tomorrow night. And then Saturday, I'm supposed to have that barbecue that I was telling you guys about like literally all week. And I should be able to start every summer after that, on Saturday, because that's going to be my summer read for the weekend. And also, like, I want to get back to the summer romances after I finish that one, because I have, like, I don't really have that many left. I think I only have 5. So after I read those, they're going to be done, so then I can actually read some Elsie Silver is probably going to be my other summer romance reads, because all of her books are on Kindle Unlimited, which is great. So I don't have to buy any of her books because I can read all of them on Kindle. So I think I'm going to end up reading, because I did start Wild Love at the nail salon, like when I actually got my nails done like a couple of weeks ago. I need to really get them done though, because it's actually been 2 weeks today and I don't know when I'm going to have time to get them done at some point. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's such a big deal. Oh my God. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go because I'm hungry. So bye.